Hi everybody, this is Flo Knight. So as promised, this is my very first scrapbook flip through. And this is the eldest of the three that I have in more or less this condition. What you're seeing are very old drawings, scraps, particularly this page, these letters that I'm running my file opener over. That is actually an old essay that I wrote way back in the day during my homeschooling English with mother. And the other things are, the silly writings of teenagers and their ways. And the very top one up there is part of a series of poems that I wrote as a book report project, and that drawing is very old. This next one, I've started to add in backgrounds for things that I have previously put in. The letter that I'm currently opening is from my 16th birthday back in California. That was a wild ride. Maybe I'll talk about that someday. These books started as a way for me to consolidate. Because as I've put in a previous post, I am heavily addicted to paper. This drawing of the Egyptian man there, that is from, at least 15 years ago. You can see my attitude about modern fashion from those pages. These are all old drawings of mine. The eldest one is that very maroon, big lips, very refined looking features. And these, of course, are more old drawings. I don't like throwing things away, and there's also the potential for some of these to be redrawn in the future. So that's the idea behind some of these that I'm flipping the book around to show you. Please excuse the camera. It's a little janky, but it did the job for the most part. Oh man, this is a hodgepodge of things that over the ages of drawing, I can't even remember what age I was. Most of these are from high school. That last one, the black and white line drawing that I'm drifting the letter opener over, that was from when, I was about 13 or 14 when I drew that. Now, somebody else drew that swan. I don't remember who. I think it may have been one of my sisters or one of my high school friends. These pages are actually a lot of stuff that I drew in high school. That blood rose, the zombie woman, and of course, if anybody's familiar with Payless, they will know that beautiful face. These are more old drawings. This has always been my way to kind of release my anxiety throughout my day-to-day. And this particular book started right after a particular breakup with somebody. It took 3 months for me to compile all of these things, even though it doesn't look very impressive. These are actually, that drawing, the woman sitting in front of the mirror, is actually from my college years. That is the original, I believe. I have better, cleaner versions somewhere else. But this is basically where my brain goes in any given moment. Yeah, there's a little bit of schmutz on that page. And arguably, a lot of these things could have been done better. But like I said, this was the first one that I ever did. And really, it was just a way for me to quiet all of the noise that was going on. Now, this next one I'm flipping over is another example of something that I would like to redo in the future. Just looking at some of these is a little embarrassing because I didn't really have a rhythm or form to, I guess you could call it the collaging state. But again, this was more of a way for me to preserve old doodles, things that I just did not want to see degrade over time. And, 3 months, every single day, doing at least 4 pages, piles of Hot Podge. I can't even tell you how much glue I used. Oh, that was a really big glitch. Now see, some of these are in the classroom trying to distract myself from basically listening to things that I already know. That was my whole high school experience. Going over everything I already knew up to that point. My mother was an exemplary teacher. People hear the word homeschooling. They have a very vague idea of what that means. And really, it's an individual thing. If your parent feels comfortable teaching you things, then you're probably going to get a decent education. As you can see from some of these pages, I really love John Waters. I can't remember the very first time that I was introduced to him, but the first movie that I remember seeing of him was Crybaby. And from there, I just went backwards. You can see how many different directions my brain will go into at any given moment, and these are all without reference, just me and a pen or a pencil or a marker just trying to work out my thoughts for that day. Like I said, a lot of this is compiled from my very young teen years, preteen years, all the way up until high school. I think that puppet is a high school one. Now, I will be covering up any photos that you might see in here because they didn't ask to be in this. But just know they are people that I care about. In that one picture from Hard Bodies Club, 18th birthday, that's a long story all by itself. Now these pages are getting more into some of the scraps that I collected my very first time here in the Bay in San Francisco. This little gallery booklet is from one of the very first galleries that I went to in the Bay. And that came about in a pretty fun way. The thing about the Bay is that, well, 10 years ago when I came here, you just had to put yourself in, whatever position that, the city kind of brings to you. You just have to surrender to it. And that's really the way that I met many of the most important people in my life out here. Oh boy, and that's an old photo from an old photo shoot. And it was an uncomfortable experience, let's just say. Oop. More things to cover up. Now these are characters, well, the purple and the large butch woman next to her, those are characters from some obscure story that I have in my mind that I may just do in the future. You can probably tell the variety of ages that I was when I was drawing a few of these. Although the black and white one there, that was one of my favorites. And I think that was about 13 or 14. And this lovely man on the left page here is much more recent. Probably sometime in the first 5 years that I lived here in the Bay. And again, there is no rhyme or reason. I have revisited this scrapbook and have added in colorings and backgrounds and stuff to just kind of fill in the rest. This is another gallery booklet. Elena Atoli. Her work was brilliant, let's just say. A lot of mask, motif, translucency, portraiture, good stuff. Some of these pages, I can't even remember what my thought process was. Typically, when I do look back at some of these scrapbooks, I usually remember what I was watching, listening to, something about the combination of images and the recollection of sounds. But for some of this, the 3 months that I was working on this was kind of a blur. So it is what it is. Now this page on the right, really, it's more like 3 pages. These are all studies for large, abstract paintings that eventually I will come to doing. Keanu, we love you. So many random things. And there's Frida in the middle in all of her glory. I tend to draw Frida a lot when I do any kind of artwork. I may just put up another compilation of all those pieces that I've drawn over the years because they are many. I don't know what it is about Frida, but I resonate with her very contrary spirit. Now, one of these is a full envelope from correspondences from people on the inside. People who know will know. Again, this is just a way for me to relax my brain. Oh, look, there's another Frida. That's actually a Frida costume that I want to construct and wear, hopefully soon, given that that one was drawn when I still lived in Texas, and that was about 15 years past. Now, a lot of this stuff is just simply so that I can get rid of it in my material pile. Sometimes it just gets a lot and you gotta do something with it. And this is how I landed on doing something with it. Wow. Some of these scraps have survived from my childhood, and I say that very seriously. That Shakira right there is probably about 20 years old at this point. And of course, it's just a mix and a match of all different things. And again, this is the very first one that I compiled. I promise the other ones are much better. I really appreciate everybody watching this little flip through. And hopefully in the future, I will have a less janky camera and we can all enjoy the fluidity. But this is just what I do when my head is filled with too much and I need to slow down and I need to take stock of my horrible addiction to paper. But as you can see, it all works out in the end. Thanks for watching this, everybody. I hope that you saw something that you liked, or resonated with, or just enjoyed my rambling. Have a really good day, everybody.
Yeah, we could, yeah, we could, yeah, we could, yeah, we could,